Hello and welcome to hopefully another entertaining episode of Create Simple Meals. So today we're going to do a very quick and simple jambalaya recipe. I know jambalaya, sometimes you may think it takes forever in a day. I promise you now, with the exception of waiting for this thing to pressurize up, this is going to be done after we saute everything, 8 minutes, no lie. So my wife is having an event, her Eastern Star chapter is having an event tonight. They do this Fatal Fridays fellowship. And so she asked me, could I make some jambalaya? And I'm like, all right, even though I got to go over to the self-employed tax guy show, because I'm doing his show tonight. So please catch us on there. The topic will be family, friends, and business. But anyway, I'm going to do this before I end up heading over there. So real quick, for the recipe, we're going to take 2 tablespoons of oil, about a pound of sausages, Creole and Dewey Cajun style sausages. Cut those up. About a pound of chicken breast is going to be diced up. A medium onion that's been diced. A medium bell pepper. Cup of celery. 3 cloves of garlic that's been minced. 2 teaspoons of Creole seasoning. A bay leaf. A cup of uncooked long grain rice. About a 14.5-ounce can of diced tomatoes. And about a cup and a half of some chicken broth. And folks, that's going to be it. We're going to pressurize that off, let that cook down. Once it's done, we can go ahead and we're going to stir in our scallions. Now, for those of you that are used to having jambalaya with seafood, if you wanted to add shrimp in here, you do everything as you normally would do it, but then at the end, when you open it up, you put the raw shrimp in, mix it on in. That heat is going to cook those shrimp in about 2 minutes, and then you go ahead and serve your gumbo. So let's go ahead and get started and get this thing pressurized. Or not pressurized, start heating it up, because we're going to do everything in one pot. This is one of them, what I call them dump and go meals, or a one pot type meals. So we're going to add us a little bit of oil in here. I need to replenish my oil bucket. Uh-oh. Add us some oil in here. As soon as that comes to temperature, we're going to add in our sausages, saute those off, take them out, put everything else in, and we're going to keep on moving with the show. As always, folks, this show is brought to you by the Self-Employed Tax Guy and Self Lodge Planner. So for all your individual tax preparation needs, your business consultation needs, please hit up the Self-Employed Tax Guy. And for all your group travel and individual travel with your fraternity, church, family reunions, whatever it is, please hit up Self Lodge Planning. Again, if you are just now tuning in today, we are doing jambalaya in a pressure cooker. We're just going to dump all our ingredients in, saute them off, and pressurize this thing 8 minutes flat. It just got some sausages, some diced chicken breasts, some onions already been diced up, some bell peppers, celery, garlic, as you call it, the Trinity, and a little bit of Creole seasoning, and that's going to be it, folks. So as soon as this, let me go ahead and check my temperature. As y'all see, the sign is down today. I got to figure out, always playing around with this technology. I had the logo on the screen, but then it timed out. So I got to figure out how to get my logo to stay on there. But that's coming back up soon. All right. Let's see if this is getting hot enough just yet. Not quite yet. So I'll be right back, folks. All right, so our pot is hot enough now, so let's go ahead first and let's dump in these sausages. And you can see how that is. We're going to go ahead and just saute them off. You're just getting them brown, folks. Release some of that oil from the sausages. So that's going to stay in here and just get a nice brown on them. You will not pressure cook the sausages because you don't want them to get rubbery. So when you cook them, you're going to set them off to the side. And as always, folks, as you're sitting here watching, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that notification bell so you can be notified. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. And for all your questions, comments, or suggestions, please email us at askme at createsimplemeals.com. We try and check every single email that comes through and respond accordingly. As you know now, the website is up. So if you try this recipe or any of the recipes, please go onto the website and leave us a comment on how yours came out. We would love to hear from you. Maybe you got a different way of tweaking it that we want to incorporate. All right, we're going to let these cook down for about 5 minutes or so. And then we're going to continue. Now, to be honest, this would have went a little bit faster if you do it in a separate pan. Saute up your sausages, because these things, though they're good, they ain't the best for sauteing. But we want to do this in one pot, because when we cook it in this, she's also going to take this in this same vessel. So I got to wash these dishes here I had. If you are just now tuning in, folks, again, we are doing a one-pot dump-and-go jambalaya. We're taking this 2 tablespoons of oil, and we're sauteing off some andouille sausages in here. After that's done, we're going to saute off our trinity, celery, onions, and bell pepper that's been diced up, a little bit of garlic. From that, we're going to go ahead and add in our chicken, cook it off just until almost done, not completely done all the way. Dump our tomatoes in, our rice, and our broth. We're going to pressure cook this thing for 8 minutes. Take it out, stir in some scallions, and then we will be done. Now, a little trick, I know because some of the holidays is coming up. You know celery comes in bulk. Say you can get onions for pretty reasonable, and bell pepper. As one of the things I do is I often buy a bunch of celery, bell peppers, and onions, because I always use that trinity mixed together, and I freeze them in Ziploc bag. Dice them up, and I freeze them in like quarter cup of each one, and put into a Ziploc bag, throw them in the freezer. So when I'm pressed for time, I need to do a recipe that calls for the trinity, I just take that out the refrigerator, out the freezer, thaw it out, throw it in the pot, and I'm good to go. Just a little tip to make your life just that much easier. All right, now these are browned off. See if I can get a closer shot in there for you. They done already browned off and released some of that oil. We're going to go ahead and take these out and set them to the side and continue with the rest of our show. Get all them out. Don't want to miss a one. All right, so now that's done. Let's go ahead and dump in our trinity. Dump that all in there, and we're going to let that cook off. Again, just being 100% honest with you, it would go a little bit faster if you had a separate pan to do all this in. Which I encourage you to do. If you ain't taking this nowhere and you don't mind washing an extra pot, you can go ahead and saute all this up in a separate pot and then put it into your pressure cooker and finish from there. Also, if you didn't want to pressure cook this exact same recipe can be done in a slow cooker. You may have to increase your liquid by just a little bit more, maybe a half a cup or so, and you can slow cook this thing in about 5 or 6 hours. We're going to let them get heated up a little bit and saute off, and then we will be right back with the next step. All right, folks, so we got those sauteed down some. Now let's go ahead and put our chicken in. And we're going to put that right in that same pot. And again, remember, you don't want to cook the chicken all the way. You basically just want to get it starting to turn white on the outside. And then you're going to finish, when it pressure cooks, it's going to finish cooking the chicken. So that's why you don't want to cook it all the way, because by doing that, you end up drying out your chicken. Then I'll show you, it's a little bit, as you see, kind of, and also dice them up about that big. You see that's not that big a piece, maybe a 1-inch cubes, but you see they starting to turn white. When they get mostly that color, then we're going to go ahead and add in our rice and our broth and our tomatoes and finish it up. Please, folks, again, while you're sitting here waiting, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that notification bell, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram. And for any and all your questions, comments, your suggestions, or just to give us a shout out, please email us at askme@createsimplemeals.com. Also, if you go to the website, there is a messenger feature on there. So if you have a question and you hit me up, it will notify me directly so I can respond to you being, in reason. If I'm not tied up with something else, I can respond to you pretty immediately. Right. And as always, folks, this show is brought to you by the Self-Employed Tax Guide and Self-Lodge Planner. So for all your tax preparation needs, your business consultation or business startup questions, please hit up the Self-Employed Tax Guide. And for all of your future individual and group travel, either your fraternal, church, family reunions, please hit up Self-Lodge Planning. Again, today we are doing a jambalaya. We've sauteed off our sausages. We're now doing our chicken breasts that we've put in with the Trinity, the bell peppers, the onions, the celery, and a little bit of garlic. And from there, we're going to, as soon as these get almost done, we're going to add in our rice and our tomatoes, and we're going to finish from there. All right, so you see a little bit closer. As you see, that's about how done you want them. So from there, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in our rice. And you want your rice to mix it all in. You want to get all of that goodness and mercy mixed on in there. From there, go ahead and add in these tomatoes with the juice. Mix that in. Again, you want to make sure all that rice stays mixed in and not on the sides of the pot. And then from that, we're going to add in our chicken broth. Mix that in real good. And I say make sure everything is in the liquid, especially the rice. From there, let's add us in a bay leaf. And we're going to lock this down and let this cook for 8 minutes. And then we will show you the final product in about 8 minutes, folks. So again, while you're waiting for these 8 minutes, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and for all your questions and comments, please email us at askme@createsimplemeals.com. While you're waiting for this to finish, remember those 3 P's that we have that you must You must have passion, you must have patience, and you must be willing to practice to make you some simple meals. So we see y'all folks back in about maybe 8 minutes or so. All right, folks, it has now been 8 minutes. I let it depressurize, so actually it's been closer to 10. I let it, what they call natural release the pressure first, and then I went on and did a quick release by releasing the valve. So let's go ahead and finish releasing that last little amount of pressure and see what we have here. All right, so let me get y'all. So as you see, it's all in there now. Everything is danced together real nicely. Let's go ahead and add in our green onions. Stir those in. Oh, I love them, the way them colors look. And at this point here, you would taste it and see if you want to add any extra seasoning or not. So let's go ahead and do that. Let me see here. Definitely need more seasoning. Nice, flavorful, not too spicy. And actually I used a mild Creole seasoning, but if you wanted spice, you can by all means add some more in right now. What I would personally do if you're doing it for a crowd, put out some hot sauce or something like that for them to add extra heat if that's what they want. That way you can have an even palate for everyone. But as you see, folks, real simple jambalaya. It took us 8 minutes in the pressure cooker plus the time before, let it pressurize and dice up. Very quick and simple meal. Remember, please, folks, subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit that notification bell. You can always know we're coming on. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. And for all your questions, comments, suggestions, or just say, hey, like what you're doing, please email us at askme@createsimplemeals.com. And always, folks, remember, when it comes to cooking, there are absolutely, positively only 3 rules we have. You must have passion, you must have patience, and you must be willing to practice. See you soon right back here on Create Simple Meals. Until then, check out our website.